Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Macro Ghost, and I'm going to give you the most current, the most important, and the most up-to-date information on the planet with regard to IBRX. There are some things that I saw this weekend, both from this tweeter here, Freedom, as well as Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong, that really raised my eyebrows, and I want to bring them to you in this video. I'm going to be going over some things that were mentioned at the UAU conference, as well as some things that came to light while I was reviewing the data. And I'm also going to take you through a technical analysis of IBRX and why it's probably very important to start accumulating as many shares as you can, given the new information that's come to light. I don't think the market has worked in this new information yet, so we should be looking forward in the next 4 to 8 weeks to a possible pop in the IBRX price. The technicals say it, the fundamentals also say it, and that's why it's so important that I bring this information to you this weekend. Stay tuned, and let's get into it. First things first, I thought it would be value added to take you through the IBRX technicals because there's been a lot of market structure built here at the 7.5, let's call it 7.5 spot price. We had the nice mega pumps to start the year, and this is the RSI here. The RSI went really overbought, and generally when an RSI goes overbought, it tends to cool down. It's not going to stay up there for very long, and that was around 7.5. This is a critical area, 7.5. So it did come down. And then it came back up and it made bearish divergence here, which is a high and then a lower high on the RSI, but a higher high on price. Stocks will generally tend to do this. They will push up and make a higher high, but make a lower high on RSI. That's your sell signal, ladies and gentlemen. That's where I was selling at least half my bag to reaccumulate at lower prices. What prices? I didn't know at the time. I just thought, oh, it looked overpriced. I'm going to get rid of it here. And I've been buying back right at this critical level at 7.5, a little bit below. So also what I see is the RSI in a technical formation breakout here of the descending falling wedge. Falling wedge is a bullish pattern, and it's happening on the RSI, not really happening on the price per se. But the RSI is the universal truth maker. So I'm going to be looking for a couple things. I'm going to be looking for this daily Bollinger Band, you see the top and the bottom here, to curve down. You see when it curves down, there's generally, when it starts to curve down on a slope and kind of pinch, that's generally when a move pops. And it's not really there yet, but in the next couple of weeks, it could be getting there. So I would expect a move in between these Bollinger Bands for the next couple of weeks. This UAU conference was critical. I did have some very important information that I would like to go over with you next in the video. But first, the technicals are very, very healthy. It's establishing a support line at 750. It's not really trending below that line for too long, showing high level of support. And the RSI is totally reset. So the RSI here at 750 was at 95 on the daily RSI. And then here at 750, it's back at 50. So generally, this is what you like to see in a stock or a commodity or crypto when you're trading something. You look for the overbought in the RSI. That's your signals to get out. And then a total reset and structure being broken here on the falling wedge. So if you're a beginner trader, this should be very value-adding news to you. So that's what I wanted to say about the technicals of IBRX. We are looking for a breakout, but not yet. I would look for this top and lower band to start pinching just like here. And then we are going higher. I would say my target price is at least 12 to 15 to 20 on really, really good news. So that's the hopium for you guys. And that's going to wrap up part 1 of this video. Part 2 of this video, I want to cover what happened at the AUA, the American Urological Association. I think I called it UAU. I think I'm dyslexic a little bit, so I apologize. But the AUA. ImmunityBio announced it had secured exclusive U.S. rights to a second source of BCG. I'm going to go over this, by the way. The Tokyo 172 strain, ImmunityBio, not the manufacturer in Japan, would be the one to take it to the FDA. Interesting. Not a promise, a signed agreement with the head-to-head trial already done. The data, the proof, a randomized phase 3 trial run by the National Cancer Institute, the NCI, through a federally funded cooperative group in patients getting BCG for the first time. So what this is telling you is it's tested already, okay? Now, I'm going to go over my notes and talk about what exactly all this jargon is, because if you're like me, if you're a trader and an investor, you probably get lost in the acronyms. the AUA, the BCG, the FDA, the ASCO. What do all these things mean? I want to know too. So I do the research for you. Now, if you're a doctor, you probably know all this stuff. And the previous TA was more valuable for you, and that's why I put them together. So I made notes on this. Let me first do this. Let me retweet this guy so you can find this very long. Find this tweet yourself if you follow me, okay? I am DeepValue69420 on X, Twitter. And I'm going to repost that so you guys can go see that yourself. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through this. There we go. AUAU. AUA. The problem, the bladder cancer patients of America face major barriers accessing the FDA-approved immunotherapy ANKTIVA. Why is this? Well, it must be combined with BCG, a live bacterial treatment in chronic U.S. shortage since 2002 under Merck's sole supply. Other suppliers like Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, they just stopped altogether. So Merck holds I would say, a monopoly on this BCG. And I said to myself, well, if Merck is a supplier, there should be no problem, right? Well, there's a problem. Many people cannot get access to this properly approved medication for CIS or CIS papillary bladder cancer, non-muscle invasive bladder cancer, because of a supply shortage, okay? And I'm going to go over that. What is BCG? It's a type of bacteria that generates a response to bladder cancer. I did not know that until I started researching. Why the combo therapy? Well, because the FDA says so. That's what its approval was conditioned on. And I have thoughts on that later. BCG, what it does is it triggers a local immune response in the bladder by attaching to cancer cells and attracting immune cells. In many patients, this response weakens or fails due to poor activation of natural killer NK cells and memory T cells. That's exactly what ANKTIVA supports. And it proliferates natural killer cells and memory T cells to activate and find and kill the cancer. ANKTIVA supercharges this by activating, well, I just said that, restoring BCG's effectiveness, overcoming tumor evasion, the tumor hides, and generating long-lasting, that's the key, long-lasting immunomemory. It's not approved alone. The FDA indication specifically requires BCG co-administration for BCG unresponsive NMIBC, that's non-muscle invasive bladder cancer. This tri-offense approach leads to higher, more durable, complete responses than BCG alone, hence the need for ANKTIVA. Now, can I give you my opinion? My opinion is this stinks of bureaucracy. Just my opinion only, guys. But I could say the things that Patrick can't say. I could say the FDA probably approved this ANKTIVA for CIS or CIS plus papillary because it's going to be hard to get. You know, if I was the crooked FDA, and I do think they're crooked at the time of 2024, I would say, oh, okay, the big pharma, the BP, are still protected from this awesome drug called ANKTIVA because it has to be used with BCG. And Merck supplies BCG. Now they supply it, but they're limited on their supply. Why are they limited? I'm going to get into that. Why is it in short supply? Merck is the only supplier. But isn't Merck huge? Why, yes, it is. But it's not about Merck's resources. It's about the production time and the demand overshooting the supply. Demand is outpacing supply, so that's a supplier problem. That's a Merck problem. And then the supply chain problem, the bottlenecks are real. So complex, slow manufacturing. Well, why is it slow? Merck has all these resources. No, it's slow because it's a bacteria. It takes 3 months per batch to grow. Aha! So Merck is the only one, and it takes 3 months per batch. Now I see there's a supply bottleneck problem with a slow doubling time and strict quality controls for a biologic. This isn't like producing pills. It's inherently limited and prone to disruption of supply chain. And of course, the demand is outpacing the capacity because there's more CIS or CIS plus papillary than what they can supply in vials per year. They've more than doubled output since 2012, but it's not enough. A new North Carolina faculty in 2025 aims to triple the capacity, but full relief is still coming. So the IBRX solution is, well, they secured exclusive rights to Japan, Tokyo's 172 BCG strain. Well, what the heck is a Tokyo 172? It sounds like a movie, like Tokyo Drift or whatever. The Tokyo 172 strain is a live BCG-derived bacterium originally developed in Japan. Wow, I mean, that's got a history there. So it has been used in Japan for nearly 30 years as a standard intravesical therapy for high-risk non-muscle invasive bladder. So yeah, high-risk NMIBC, and as a TB vaccine. So basically what I'm trying to say here, my own words, is it works. It's been tested, and it should have no problem getting approved by the US FDA. Let me restate that. It should have no problem, right? We're getting a new FDA. We're getting all the old players out, the Marty Makaris, the Prasads, those bureaucratic screwballs. They're all gone, okay? So the momentum, the wheels are starting to turn for IBRX, for ANKTIVA, in our favor. That's why I brought up the chart and I said, well, you guys, I told my dad, you got to accumulate all you can at this level. Get as much as you can, whether it's long-dated calls or spot, just grab as much as you can. And so the hypothesis testing, we're going to test our hypothesis here on why this Japan Tokyo 172 Tokyo drift is going to get approval. Well, Japan government-led SWOG phase 3 trial, which showed non-inferiority was 64% versus 58%. That 58% is the Merck grade, okay? So this is very confusing, but I got to the bottom of it. Non-inferiority, well, to me, it looks like superiority. I don't know why they don't say that, but superiority of this Tokyo drift BCG bacteria to treat the cancer from one end and then ANKTIVA with the other. So higher rates of superiority to the Merck one. So Merck can't be happy with that, but too bad. You know, results should matter, is what I'm trying to say. Results should matter. So the Japan trial should matter and should be approved. And it's got years of phase 3 data behind it. IBRX ImmunityBio now has exclusive U.S. rights to import, develop, and commercialize it. This creates a second FDA pathway alongside Merck's TICE strain. That's what it is, a TICE strain, ending single source dependency. So pathways open up, IBRX exclusive access. We don't need to wait for Merck anymore. Plus, Merck doesn't want IBRX out there. That takes away from their chemo and their radiation, and the big pharma, they don't want this, but too bad. ImmunityBio is the key. And this agreement obviously eliminates the critical bottleneck for ANKTIVA's current use and planned first-line expansions. The remaining step is FDA filing and approval. This development could significantly improve access for thousands of patients battling non-muscle invasive bladder cancer. Will it get FDA approved? Come on already. Marty Makari is gone. Prasad is gone. The other woman is gone. That team of trolls, if you will, they're gone. You know, where they favor, in my opinion only, they favor big pharma. They favor the money coming into their pockets. Everything is incentives. I've said this before in videos. Everything in this world is based on incentives. So if big pharma has an incentive to protect itself, it's going to have meetings, quote unquote, have meetings with the FDA at Starbucks. You get what I'm saying? And that FDA is gone. And that came from the very highest level. Now, who is that? Is that Trump? Is that Robert F. Kennedy? I don't know. It sounds like RFK. It sounds like he wants progress. So I think that's a wrap for me. That's going to be my input. If you got value from this, please like, please subscribe, share this and comment. Any comment works. It's for the algorithm. And I will see you on Twitter. Retweet this if you want. It all helps. I'm going to be supporting IBRX through this entire journey. We have a journey ahead of us, guys. It's not just lung cancer. It's not just CIS plus papillary. It's everything. It's glioblastoma. It's pancreas. It's liver. It's COVID. It's HIV. I mean, it's exciting. And this is a 5-year thing, 10-year thing. And I'm going to be here every step of the way for you, with you, and supporting ImmunityBio and Dr. Patrick in the future. Thank you very much. And